Well, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're lucky enough to be doing it to, I'm Bushka on Blitz, and happy to be back here with you wonderful humans today for another dose of the good stuff. This is the T3485 victory. We're not going to be doing anything special. We're just looking at a few games, one in this tank, one in a couple of other tanks, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. This is a little bit of a breather for me. I've been doing non-stop reviews, research, all that kind of razzmatazz. We're just going to have a look at a few games that we had during the week that were notable for one reason or another. Kick back, relax, grab a cup of your finest beverage, and let the love begin. Because this is where the idiots come to roam. Basically, I'm a big believer in taking your time in these kind of situations. I am a two-shot for that tank. He is a two-shot for me. However, I am a tier 6 premium with lower pen values than most, and I don't have any premium ammunition. I'm actually carrying very little in the victory these days because I'm here to grind credits. That tier 7 TD, the SU-100M1, is an awful lot of red. And he is basically going to be, if I move out here and charge him, he'll give me one on the way in, and he'll give me another one to finish me. What I want to do is get him in a situation where he's in the open, away from the walls, and I can actually penetrate him. Or he's coming across open ground towards me, and I can just put shots into weak points, taking my time to aim. However, this idiot here, Yamato, or whatever his name is in 24G, won't shut up and keeps carrying on like a pork chop, telling me what I should be doing. I've got 2 minutes left. If I rush up there, I give up the good, give it to him, and I take on the bad. What I'm looking for is for him to panic and make a mistake, which is what he's doing here. He's moving out from that urban area to the open field. And it's going to give me the chance to side scrape off this wall, which is just absolutely bloody wonderful. You can see there I set up for a little side scrape. And all I need to do is hit him once. If I can give him one shot without taking one back, then it's a winner. I guess the real point I'm trying to make here, guys, is when you're in a last-ditch must-win situation, take your time. Look how red he is. And these idiots want me to charge on out there. Coward, says Yamato and his mates. And there he goes. He's made his mistake. He's turned it into a one-shot kill, and I'm happy to take that and get the win. Never listen to the haters, team. Never listen to the haters. Now, this was a T54 game I had recently. The server lag's been pretty bad, and they're working diligently to fix this up. But this was one of the oddest mastery games I've ever had in my life. That's what I do when the server gives it up. I get rid of the app, I open it up again, and I roll onwards and upwards. I think it must have happened to a few people because by the time I got back, I was all okay going across and I didn't actually get killed going across to the far left flank of Port Bay. Now, the T54 is a fantastic little tank. It's ideally built for situations like this where you can go hull down and rain fire upon it. I want to talk, though, about this position on Port Bay. And I should probably do a positions of power on this area right here. The reason it's so strong is because it can support both flanks. Most people on Port Bay will either come this way to the bridge or they'll go through town and flank back. But either way, they end up here, unless they want a cap, which is exceptionally rare. And either way, you get hull down shots back across to targets that are generally wide out in the open. Now, I've realised as soon as I've seen that there's no one there, that they're probably coming from this direction, which is to be expected. So I've moved right back around and I'm immediately hull down again. Now, this is one of the strongest areas for mediums on any of the maps that you can find. It's really hard to dig mediums out from over here that know what they're doing, and you usually have to pay a pretty hefty price in terms of hit points from your own team. Now, I've picked on that 7-1, no particular reason. I don't know him for a bar of soap. I'm just trying to get something done, and he's the one who's in the way. So, hats off. He's the one I'm after. All kinds of trouble there. backing it up. They're all looking at me now. There's the Carnarvon. We get another one in, and we're pulling all the way back to our safe little hidey hole again. Now, they're going to push up on us very, very hard here. We're going to get at least one straight in the Leo. Back it up. Go hull down again. He's got to come up here, and while he's going up there, they're exposed to all the fire from the other flank and immediately gets tracked, turned, and dusted. Likewise, this Scent 7 and 1, who we've put multiple shots into already, same deal. We don't overexpose ourselves. We just let him hang himself. We give him enough rope to come over here and get absolutely belted. We're missing an E75. He'll be a crucial contributor to our mastery. And this is what I mean. We've come out, we've gone to the flank, we've crashed, we've restarted the app, still got there in time, and they've all flanked, despite the fact that they had 3 mediums, they've all flanked around through town. I mean, this is just absolute ridiculousness, this. They should have been out here like a cat on a hot tin roof. We've got 3 kills. We're going for our 4th. There's an IS-3 defender there, and we're pumping along. Now, the defender is a tough one. You've only got 201mm of pen on your AP rounds, which can mean that at times, tanks like the defender can be actually quite difficult to take a hold of and kill without taking back a lot of damage. So you've got to be very careful with them. And he's now off, I'd suggest, off his reload. He might have one more left in the shot. There we go. And we get our 4th kill. Now, the E75 is AFK, was the call. I'm going to head straight over, and there he is right there. This is really the oddest gold M I've ever had in this tank. Normally, you need about 5k to get him, but you can get him around 4.5 to 4.8. I didn't think we had enough damage, but we've got a full hit point E75. We've crashed to desktop, more or less, and made it to the flank on Port Bay while 3 mediums flanked through the port, and we got our gold M. Very, very random game. Now this, on the other hand, is probably the laziest mastery I've ever seen on an M46 pattern. I like to push up here quite hard. When we have a big medium advantage, I like to get up and then try and trap enemy teams down on the left-hand side here, either on the left or the right, depending on your perspective. And you can see Rich Like a MP is there as well, and we are gangbusters. But they've actually come up pretty well, pretty hard, the red team, which is a good thing. That's exactly how you meant to play it. They've come up here and support. The hill is where the action is at generally on this map. And I've forgotten that I am using APCR here, so I'm actually firing APCR, wasting cash like a mofo. Unbelievable. They're all up. It's me and Rich, and we're getting swamped. There's very little chance they're getting bolshy. We missed that one. We've missed 2. There are 6 tanks here. Rich is done for. I am out of there, Batman. I run into a hill. I still turn around. I've forgotten I'm firing APCR, so I've got 4 rounds of APCR left. This is horrific play. This results in a mastery. I'm not kidding. It is absolutely ridiculous. I think we'd been playing for about 4 hours at this point, and I was just absolutely wrecked. The team flanked. They flanked. What were they thinking? So now, we're all back here. I've finally changed up from APCR. Amazing. And we're putting shots into the back of this SU-100M1. SU-100M1's starring in the day-to-day, and the pattern knocks out another one. Really want to get that M103, and he gets stuck on the bridge of the hill. Look at that. I mean, of all the ways to die, he gets stuck on the end. The Object 704 basically is smashing things up in the middle, and we're down to 2 on 4. So good on your T28 for catching that M103, sticking him on the top of the ridge, but we're still 2 tanks to 4. Gun depression, though, is a lovely thing, and that's what we've got, and the IS-3 really doesn't. So he's really got to come all the way out to get the shot, and then we move back forward, really screw with his aim there, and straight in through that side spaced armour. So we're finally starting to play like a proper human being. It won't last for long, though. There we go. One in the IS-8. We're missing a T-34. There he is. He's popped up. And we're into the Tiger 2, who has ammo rack damage, which is fantastic as far as I'm concerned. This is finally starting to be a decent enough game. But, gee, it was pretty rough there for the first 2/3. And we just dance out sideways and get hit. I think I must have been sleepwalking through this one. Bouncing shots. Fearless. Bang. Another IS-8 kill. Woohoo! The object's very low. I'm very low. The T-34 is not very low, unfortunately, and he has fantastic penetration values. So we really have a bit of work to do right here. I'm pushing forward, happy days, trying to bait shots out. He's having none of it, and he absolutely smashes me. Then drops adrenaline. I'm just waiting for the Object 704 to save me here, because I can't do it myself. This is an atrocious drive, and I'm still alive, and I'm churning out damage even yet. And we get the kill. Just a shade off 5,000 damage. We did just enough well to get that there, but man, did we ever blow a bunch early on. And running into the hill as we were fleeing and Rich was taking the last hit was pretty grim. 4,900. Whew. So there you go. If you want to see the laziest mastery game in history where you waste the most money, that's the one right there. I will show you actually something that's worthwhile though this time. Let's have a look at the KV-13. And the KV-13 is in a world of trouble here. I'm on Hemelsdorf. I've got a tier 9 TD with 640 Alpha coming towards me, and I track him. Very lucky. Well, actually not very lucky at all. That's one of the things I use HE for all the time. High explosive works, the way it hits, it will hit the tank, and then if it hits a module, all the damage gets absorbed by that module, and if there's any extra left over, it'll then splash around and do damage to the rest of the tank. So what I'm doing there is hitting a module. The tracks, guys, are a module, which is making a lot of sense, right? Because, man, you can repair the module. Obviously, they're a module. So when I see this dude coming for me, I switch to high explosive ammunition, I pull back, and all I want to do is hit those tracks. It absorbs the full damage of the high explosive, which is enough with 7 hit points left over to actually completely derail his tracks. Switch to APCR. He comes back around. We get one on his side. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. That's one you guys should really remember. Carry a little bit of HE, and when you absolutely have to track someone, switch to HE, or if you have a shot, obviously through a clean drive wheel, and you've got an accurate gun, that's where you go. Now this is about being aggressive and using the tank to create spotting damage. I'm a tier 7. There's a lot of those tanks I simply can't pan. You can see, look at how much red there is with APCR on that little old tortoise. What I'm trying to do is get him turned towards me, get as much focus on me as I can, get them moving forward, and actually get our tanks involved. Rather than sit back and watch everyone die as I slowly approach a bunch of TDs, I'm going to spot up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tanks and actually get the rest of my team involved. You can see the scent saying negative. I'm just trying to get these guys up onto the hill and racing. Hoodie is back there pumping damage in the SP1C, which has a fantastic weapon, and the Comet is certainly no slouch, 2400 DPM in the Comet. So what I'm going to do now, after spotting most of their team, which are coincidentally big TDs, right? So if you've got big TDs and you can spot them up, you get them stopped, and you make it very difficult once everyone knows where they are for them to have an easy time pumping out damage. There's nothing worse than a TD firing from camo or a TD that hasn't been spotted at all, and no one knows the position. They can make people very, very standoffish and very passive, and it's certainly not the way I like to play. And the way I like to win games is to have targets to shoot. And we can see Right there, how good the comment is. We have pumped that guy. Hoodie has not stopped pumping since we started. Tier 9 game, 2 Tier 7 mediums. Hoodie's going to do 2.5k here. I'm going to do just a shade under. We've reset camo. Over we go. And there's our good mate, the Tort. He's done. They're down to 2 tanks. Really aggressive play by the rest of the team. That SP1C should have been up there where I was, spotting us as we came over that hill deluxe. And there would have been absolutely no way in hell I would have been able to get there and spot the rest of his team. But because he was a little bit passive and I was really aggressive and they weren't expecting it, it worked an absolute treat. And there you go. We've got him. Under 4 minutes, under 3 minutes for the game, and we're done and dusted. And I think by the end of it, we did about 2.5k maybe spotting damage to go along with just a shade under 2,000 damage. So it's worth bearing in mind, guys. I mean, I carry on about this a lot, and I always have 1,800, 2,659 spotting. We got more XP than anyone else in the game, and Hoodie did the most damage in the game by a wide margin with me coming up second. But we managed to spread the damage across the rest of the team because basically they had targets. If you give targets to players, even if they're not very good players, if you give them a target, they'll go to it. And you'll find that if you're in a light or a medium tank and you actually give like a 40% win rate guy or someone who's just starting the game out a target, they'll just gravitate towards it. It's magnetic. They can't help it. They'll just drive in a straight line at that target and press the button. So be aware of that. And when you're in a lower tier tank in a big match, get out there, spot the big dogs, and then bugger off back behind the rest of your boys and hope for the best, because it's a great way to get teams moving. Anyway, I'm Bushka on Blitz. I hope you enjoyed that. Just a little bit of a light-hearted break, a few ins and outs. There's so much going on out there at the moment. I hope you're all enjoying the T3485 Rudy. Very, very interesting tank. Well, not the T30. Just hope you're enjoying the Rudy. And I think it's a good-looking little tank. I'm a big fan of the Victory. If you ever get a chance to buy the Victory and it pops up, grab it. This thing absolutely prints credits like a monster. And with the introduction of +1, -1 matchmaking, it's become my go-to credit grinder. So as always, stay safe on the battlefield, humans. And if you would like to support the channel, click along on the link there. It's great. The more patrons we have, the more we get per review or game improvement video, the more likely it is that I can quit the day job forever and come over here and just do videos every day of the week for you wonderful human beings. I'm Bushka on Blitz. Bye till next time.